Right now, for some more reaction to the story, I'm joined by Bonginkosi Dhlamini, IFP caucus leader in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Sibalkhulu, good evening, and thank you very much for your time. Maybe let's start here. Do you believe the parties are handling themselves in the spirit of the national unity that would have prevailed at the national level, and maybe one that we could have seen prevailing in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, in how they are approaching these negotiations in the Gauteng province? Please unmute for us there. You are still muted there. Sibalkhulu, if you can please unmute for us. We cannot hear you there.
Oh, I'm saying good morning.
There you are. Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening, rather. Good to have you.
And your viewers at home, and thank you so much for having us. I think the IFP has taken a posture that we will not in any way negotiate through the media with our counterparts, as much as the party we are concerned of what is happening in Gauteng. Yes, you are very correct that in KwaZulu-Natal it was very smooth because everybody understood that no one has won, the voters have spoken. Even at national, as much as we respect the principle that those who've got a bigger number becomes leaders. It has happened at national where the President Ramaphosa was given that latitude. It has happened in KZN where the IFP was given that latitude. We are doing the same in Gauteng to make that the ANC, because of the numbers amongst the partners, they must take the lead. But immediately you take leadership of anything, you become responsible and make sure that what happens. Therefore, our appeal as the IFP, as I said to you, that our posture is that we cannot discuss issues through the media with our partners. Right. That's why we're not issuing statements and so forth. We can only appeal for the sake of our country. Gauteng is the economic hub not only of South Africa, but of the whole continent. Our economy depends on us. More than 45% of the GDP of the country comes from here. Therefore, as leaders here, we need to be very responsible and make sure that is why we are appealing to both the ANC and the DA that they must find each other, because nobody has won these elections. Therefore, no one can invite anyone. The fact that the premier was never contested at the provincial level, it was because of the agreement of parties that we will not. And it was not a miracle. Therefore, we are just appealing to all parties involved that let us form a government for the sake of South Africans. I mean, more especially Gauteng residents. We were known as this province to be a province that solves problems. And KwaZulu-Natal was known as a province that was problematic. But today, KwaZulu-Natal is smooth and running in the government. Therefore, we have no reason in Gauteng. My appeal is that all the role players in trying to put together the provincial government of unity, let's sober up. Nobody has won elections. No one can invite anyone. We invite each other, and we've given the ANC that right to invite all of us, but as partners that must contribute towards finding solutions. That's my appeal. That's our appeal as the IFP in Gauteng.
Given the posture that you have articulated now in terms of not negotiating publicly, were you taken aback by the DA revealing that apparently you were offered 1 seat out of the 10?
I will not want to get into those details, honestly, publicly so, but some of the statements that are being shared with us as the public, more especially both from the ANC and the DA, are really disturbing. Hence, we are really appealing to both of them that here, the time of posturing, voters have spoken. Nobody has won. We must try and find each other and respect the will of the voters. We cannot afford to have a big brother or big sister syndrome in this case. We need to find each other, but at the same time acknowledge who got what through the ballot.
So you are also emphasizing the fact that the principle of proportionality needs to be prioritized here. Do you think the DA has got a right then to reject this deal based on that principle?
I will make an example with KwaZulu-Natal because you know that I'm part of the 7 team of the IFP national negotiators.
Yes.
In KwaZulu-Natal, when we looked at the numbers, we said that the principle is there, yes, we must respect it to an extent. Because when you look at proportionality in KwaZulu-Natal, the NFP did not qualify for any seats. But because the coalition, I mean, the provincial government needed the NFP. The NFP was given an executive seat. So that because the principle itself does not say proportionality only, it says proportionality and inclusiveness. Therefore, we even here in Gauteng, we must be able to find each other. I was very happy when I heard the DA saying they are happy with the 3, which does not represent proportionality, but represents reality of the politics and the numbers of what we want to achieve in Gauteng.
Yeah. Are you concerned about the lack of transparency in terms of then the positions that are going to be offered to the other parties? Because the ANC last night said, well, we are not just talking to the Democratic Alliance and the IFP, we are inclusive, as you put it, putting all other parties, even parties with smaller seats, with 1 seat and so on and so forth. But from the DA, it seems it's not coming forth. I don't know whether it does come out in your negotiations, where the other seats will be allocated as far as the smaller parties are concerned.
Both at national level in KwaZulu-Natal, where they were hung parliaments, discussions respected the prerogative of the appointing authority, because we cannot prescribe to the president or the premier how the discussion, how he appoints, but discussions on the principle of the proportionality and what is it that has been given, and we leave that to. We cannot go there not knowing what is happening, and I think that's where some of the problems between the ANC and the DA comes from.
And do you think then, therefore, the door should still be open for conversation, or yet again, the Premier must then use his prerogative and just go ahead, announce, as he has been planning to do so, at least on 2 occasions, but having to postpone?
My biggest worry with going ahead arrogantly, it's not going only to affect parties that are left out. It's going to affect the whole governance of our province, because the very same pass between the DA and the ANC is creating a problem for this very same government we are trying to build. Because look, go to KwaZulu-Natal, stability, everything has been agreed. Even you are going to be able to attract investment, you're going to be able to attract professionals that are going to help you in your program. Here in Gauteng, we're creating a situation where people think that the provincial government is going to be another Rulini, is going to another Johannesburg. And we cannot afford to do that. Hence our appeal as IFP to say, let us try and find each other and acknowledge the fact that there is no one here who have won elections. But let's respect each other as partners, at the same time recognizing that the one who got more votes than others in the partnership, he takes the leadership, but he does not take the bigger brother syndrome of saying, I will decide what I dish.
Yeah, yeah. I'm asking that in view of the fact that, of course, we heard today in that briefing that the Democratic Alliance welcomes the involvement of the IFP as co-signatories to the statement of intent. But the ANC saying that the DA feels as though this should just happen between the 2 of them. And once there's an agreement between the 2 of them, let's disregard all the other small parties and what the other small parties are bringing to the table. And the ANC saying, well, that's not going to happen.
No, now your question, as much as it is fair, but it's now putting me exactly where I don't want to be, where I discuss the details of what we discuss, either with the ANC or the DA.
Yeah. Will they then be able to find each other, or do you see a situation where yourself, the ANC, and the other small parties will then go ahead and form a government outside of the Democratic Alliance?
We have no choice but to find each other. It is the voters that have decreed that. Therefore, there is no one who really respects our voters that we really want to go against. That is why I'm happy that there is engagement that is going to take place tomorrow between the ANC itself, and I'm happy that also the DA said they're not closing the door. They're just declaring a dispute.
Do you see a role where national leadership of the ANC can intervene here? Others have been saying, well, the president must then come in and steer these negotiations.
National leaders who have been able to pull the national deal and the KwaZulu-Natal deal, I think they've got a responsibility to make sure that they can intervene in Gauteng so that we come up with, because it's all about our country and our province and our people. People don't care who becomes what. They only care about the service delivery, restoring, creating of jobs, ending crime. And so in Gauteng, there's a lot that we need to deal with. So we don't have choices here. We don't have. Our choices are very limited. And the voters were very clear who should work with who.
Cool. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on this evening. Gauteng caucus leader for the IFP, Bonginkosi Dhlamini. We'll get reaction from the Gauteng ANC Youth League in a moment to these delays. Stay with us.